Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This video is for those who need 4 band and they are planning to go to UK. So they need UKVi IELTS 4 band each and they can easily go there, right? Now let me tell you, usually when the students come for 4 band, their education level is quite low. Some are metric, under metric, intermediate, and luckily some are graduates and postgraduates as well. So let me tell you, getting 4 band in IELTS is not difficult if you have the basic level of English, right? And if your English is so pathetic, or if you don't understand English at all, 4 band IELTS can be a nightmare for you. First of all, let me tell you, if you're planning to go to UK on work visa, as they are offering the skilled visa and all that migration, for that you need general training IELTS UKVi. Keep that in mind. General training IELTS UKVi. Sometimes students take non-UKVi and then that IELTS is not accepted in UK. Keep that in mind, okay? And some countries do not accept IELTS UKVi as well. Keep that in mind, okay? So the first thing is IELTS UKVi. Now, in order to get 4 band, you don't, if your level of English is good or even average, you don't have to worry. You can get 4 band without any problem. The first thing is, in order to get 4 band in listening, and you've got to appear in all 4 modules. This is what we call B1. 4 band is B1 in IELTS and you have to appear in all 4 modules. Keep that in mind. It's not listening speaking. Okay, that is A1 spouse test where you need listening speaking. For B1 4 band, you need all 4 modules. Listening. Now remember, listening test starts with listening part 1, which is very simple and easy peasy. When you practice, when you prepare, you guys need to focus listening part 1 and try to get 10 by 10 in part 1 and you will see the level of English in IELTS listening part 1 UKVi is absolutely your level of English, okay? So part 1, and I would say if you find listening difficult, if your basic English is not good, you should only focus part 1 for some time. For example, there are Cambridge IELTS books. So in the listening test, only do part 1 and do it with 10 to 15 tests. Once you get 8 to 10 correct answers in part 1, you can move on to part 2. In part 2, mainly we have multiple choice questions, we have matching type of questions, and sometimes they give you a map as well. So part 2 is a little more difficult than part 1. And if your level of English is okay, then it will not be very difficult for you. But still you need to practice. Now, in order to get 4 band, you need around less than 20 correct answers. Okay, around 20. You should target 20, but you can get 4 band with less than 20 correct answers as well. So listening part 1, where you have to fill in the blanks, and listening part 4, which is 1 word only. These 2 parts should be taken care of very, very well. Then in part 2 and part 3, you can have some flukes or tukas as well, okay? Because in part 2 and part 3, there are mainly questions where you can easily do the tuka stuff. Tuka means fluke, right? For example, if it is multiple choice A, B, C, so you can write your answer as all A's, all B's, at least 1 to 2 will be right, okay? But in part 1 and part 4, questions are 1 word only, 1 word and or a number. So try to practice part 1 and part 2 in such a way that you get your desired band, which is not difficult, okay? Now let's talk about reading. General training reading for UKVi for band 4. Remember, the level of difficulty in general training reading part 1 and part 2 is not, part 1 and part 2, these 2 parts are not as difficult as part 3. And by the way, general training reading is not as complicated as academic reading. So I would advise you to focus the first 2 parts mainly. because you cannot upgrade your English within a month to advanced level. That is why part 1 and part 2 general training reading, there are 26 to 27 questions, and try to get maximum answers from here. And as far as part 3 is concerned, in part 3 you can have guesses also. Like in part 3 general training reading, we have multiple choice questions, list of headings, true false not given, yes no not given, sentence completion. There you can have some guesses also, but make sure that in general training reading part 1 and part 2, out of 27 answers, you get at least 20 correct answers here, right? So this is how you can be helped in reading, and for that you can follow Cambridge IELTS books 11 to 18. Practice with reading part 1 first, solve all the tests 11 to 18 part 1 only, reading part 1. Then reading part 2, and then you can see in part 3. Try to solve sentence completion in part 3. And then you can just go on with the other questions, and you can have the flukes or tukas as well. Now, as far as writing is concerned, general training guys for UKVi 4 band, they have to write a letter, that is writing task 1, and they have to write an essay, that is writing task 2. So for letter writing, they give you a simple topic. You need to read the topic, and as you can write, just there are certain books which offer sentences for letter writing. Learn those sentences and write them in your letters. And for essay, for 4 band, you can learn any template for opinion essay, discussion essay, double question essay, and then use that template. One of my students, she appeared in this UKVi B1 test, and she had that template, and with the template she got 5.5 band, 5.5 band with the template, right? But what does she do? She changes the wording as per the topic, she changes the pattern as per the topic, and she's getting that band. So you can just go through any good template, and then you can practice from there, right? And all that. Now, after this we have speaking. Let me tell you, for 4 band, speaking is not difficult. First of all, you can use this technique which is called parroting. Now, what is parroting? What is your favorite color? You parrot it. My favorite color is. What do you do in your free time? In my free time, I. So, what you have to do when you start your answer, convert the question from interrogative to positive, and then go on, add a couple of sentences, and these answers will give you 5.5 band easily. Yes, in speaking part 2, there are some topics for cue card, so you can practice those topics and try to speak on those topics as much as possible. Whether you speak right or you speak wrong, just see what the topic is. If the topic is describe a shopping mall, just speak about the shopping mall and don't worry about that. Make short sentences and do not stop until you are interrupted by unless you are interrupted by the examiner, and this is how you can easily get better bench score, right? And then in part 3, same as you answer the questions in part 1, you need to answer the questions in part 3 as well. One of my students appeared in UKVi B1 IELTS, right? His target band was 4. He attended my IELTS master class. His target band was 4 and he got 5.5. Just today he shared the result and he was over the moon and very happy, like nothing. Okay, he called me and he was saying, I love you, sir, and you helped me a lot and this and that. So it's not going to be a big deal. Your effort and your practice, the way I told you to practice, it can easily bring you 4 band, right? If you can't do it all on your own, then you can join my online classes or in-campus classes. I will help you further achieve your desired band. All the best, guys. Thank you so much. I also teach IELTS online all over the world and in campus in Lahore. If you wish to be the part of my online or in campus IELTS classes, my WhatsApp number is given. You can contact me for that. Asad Yaqub wholeheartedly wishes you best of luck. Take care. Allah Hafiz.